Hey guys, Malcolm here, Survival Know-How, and today we're going to be talking about the priorities of survival and the rules of three. Stay tuned. So the priority of survival are just what order you need to accomplish certain tasks in a survival situation. So for example, if you are in the far north and it's the middle of winter time and your snowmobile breaks down and the sun is just about to set, what is your number one priority? It's not to go try to forage and find food and build some deadfalls and snares to try to catch some animals. No, your number one priority right then is to build a damn shelter, and then if you have time, build a damn fire afterwards. So priority of survival is just what order you need to accomplish these certain tasks. So the rules of three is just a simple mnemonic to help you remember what your priorities of survival are. So there's several different versions of the rule of threes that I've heard over the years. So today I'm going to give you guys the expanded version of the rule of threes. And it's up to you if you want to remember just the main three or if you want to remember all of them. So the first rule of three is that you can survive for 3 minutes without air. So if you're trapped underwater or you're in a house that's on fire, you have about 3 minutes before you pass out from the lack of oxygen. So to me, this one's kind of a no-brainer, but I'm always hearing this one included in the rules of three. And I think what the real purpose is just to make you think about your immediate surroundings and if you're in any immediate danger. If you don't have any oxygen, that's something immediately that you need to take care of. If you're in a car that's on fire, you should be thinking about how to get out of that car. So when you hear 3 minutes without oxygen, just really think about what other immediate dangers am I in that I need to take care of before I can focus on anything else, okay? So your immediate safety. So that's the first rule, 3 minutes without oxygen. So the next rule of three is that you can't survive 3 hours without shelter. Now I know what you're saying, well of course I can go 3 hours without shelter, but this is really meant to imply during severe weather. So let's go back to the snowmobile scenario, okay? The sun sets, it's nighttime, it's below freezing cold. If you don't have a shelter in some way to insulate your body and keep your body warmed in there, keep the wind out, yeah, man, you're gonna get hypothermia within 3 hours. Like, it doesn't take that long. Even if it's not wintertime, if it's the dead of summer, it still gets cold enough at nighttime for hypothermia to set in within a matter of hours. If it's raining out and you don't have a shelter to protect you from the rain, again, you're gonna get drenched, you're gonna get cold, you're gonna get hypothermia. So in many situations, shelter is your number one priority, and that's why we say you can survive 3 hours without shelter. So the next rule of three is that you can survive 3 days without water. So after you've taken care of preventing yourself from any immediate dangers, and then you've built yourself a shelter and taken care of your core body temperature and make sure that it's stable and it's gonna stay warm at nighttime, now you start worrying about water, okay? You can go about 3 days without any clean water, so hydration needs to be a top priority. Next, you can go 3 weeks without food. So if you throw the average person in a survival situation, they're going to think that food is their number one priority, and it absolutely is not. You really need to take care of shelter, you need to take care of water long before you need to take care of food. You can survive 3 to 4 weeks without any food at all, so make sure you take care of your shelter first, make sure you take care of hydration and water, and then you can really focus on gathering food and getting some calories in you. So the next rule of three is you can survive 3 months without any companions. So humans are social creatures and we are almost dependent on our social interactions. Now I know you might be saying, psh, not me man, I got no problem with that, I'll go out there for a year, piece of cake. Think of Castaway and Tom Hanks, right? He didn't have any social interaction whatsoever, but he needed it so bad that he had to create Wilson out of a beach ball.
We might just make it. Did that thought ever cross your brain? Well, regardless, I would rather take my chance out there on the ocean than to stay here and die on this shithole island, spending the rest of my life talking to a goddamn volleyball!
If you guys aren't watching Alone, you should be. It's a fantastic survival show. And on that show, they throw these people out in the woods completely alone, and they have their own cameras and have to record themselves. And you can watch these people take care of all their priorities to survival, right? They have shelter, they have food, they have water, they have a great camp, great setup. Physically, they could last there almost indefinitely, but they always end up breaking because they miss interacting with people. They miss their family, they miss their friends. They have no social interaction, they get depressed, and they just lose the motivation. So don't overlook the need of humans to interact socially. So as a general rule of thumbs, you can go 3 months without social interaction. So that's all 5 of them that you commonly hear. You can go 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 months without a social interaction. So keep in mind, guys, that these are just general guidelines and not exactly set in stone. You know, what I mean by that is sometimes your priorities can kind of overlap. So if on day 1 you're set, okay, I gotta build a shelter, and you're out there looking for sticks to build shelter, well, also keep your eyes out for a water source. Keep your eyes out for a food source. I don't want you guys thinking that all you can focus on day 1 is shelter. Don't even think about food and water at all. And then day 2, all you can do is water. Don't even think about food. You know, it all overlaps. You know, all of these things are important. Some of them are just more important at a particular time than the other ones. Now, a little bit of criticism that I have about the rule of threes is that it doesn't include fire in there. Now, personally, I would say shelter is the top priority, and then fire is right below that, then water, then food. So I just think of it as fire and shelter go hand in hand, and that fire is just kind of part of your shelter system. So there you have it, guys. That is the rule of 3, and is just a simple mnemonic to help you remember what your priorities of survival are in a survival situation. So what do you guys think of the rules of 3? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Let me know down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and check out my website, survivalknowhow.net. And as always, guys, remember, knowledge weighs nothing. So long. So what do you guys think of the rule of 3s? Do you like it? Do you not? And the rules of 3 is just a simple mnemonic to help you remember your priorities of survival. Is that the right word? Mnemonic? I gotta Google that. Hold on.